Recently, I was looking on Google Maps, as I often do, and I noticed two geographic features that seemed oddly circular. So, the first one is up here in Hudson Bay, and I just noticed how much this looks like a perfect section of a circle. I mean, it's crazy how nearly perfectly circular this looks, despite it being natural, and I was wondering how that could be. Well, this arc is known as the Nastapoka Arc, and here is just a diagram showing its section of a circle. And this arc has actually caused some disagreement among scientists because some people think that this arc was caused by a huge meteorite impact. One of the first people to pose this idea was Carlisle Beals in 1968, and he said that this was caused by a meteorite impact in the Precambrian era. And while some other scientists have agreed with Beals in the past, his hypothesis has mostly been phased out. The current consensus is pretty complicated, but I think I understand it, and I'm going to try and explain it here. So this is a map of the orogeny of North America, basically the folds in the Earth's surface. And the main parts we're going to be looking at here is the area surrounding this blue section with a bit of this yellow. This is called the Trans-Hudson orogeny. And you can't see the text in here, but it does say Trans-Hudson. And so this goes up here, and this large pink area which kind of wraps around it is called mainly the Superior Craton. And so this yellow section of the Trans-Hudson orogeny is called the Belcher Fold Belt. And so we have the Superior Craton here, and this Trans-Hudson orogeny here, and they both don't have that much tectonic activity. However, the Superior Craton is made from a stronger bedrock material than the Trans-Hudson orogeny. This means that when the glaciers flowed through the area, they eroded more of the Trans-Hudson orogeny and less of the Superior Craton. And it just so happens that it was shaped almost perfectly like a circle here. Some geologists have posed that this structure was much older and was actually caused by a plate collision between two different Archean plates. Basically just a really ancient collision, and that these cratons here basically just solidified the arc. Now I know this geology is pretty confusing. I myself have done multiple takes of this video, but I hope I was able to explain it well. Now the next circular formation I noticed is a bit less obvious, but you can still kind of tell that it is circular. And this is called the Niagara Escarpment. And so here is roughly the circle I'm talking about. It goes up Door County, Wisconsin, to below the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and across these islands, especially Manitoulin Island in Lake Huron. And so it's basically this section of the circle. As I just mentioned, this formation is known as the Niagara Escarpment. And it is more than just this circular area. It also goes down here to Niagara Falls, which is why it is called that. And an escarpment is basically a long cliffside that is either formed by erosion and a fault line. And so this Niagara Escarpment was actually formed by unequal erosion. And so this escarpment unequally eroded with the land below it because it features a cap rock, basically a layer on top of rock that is more resistant, of limestone. And this limestone is more resistant to weathering than what was normally shale. So basically, imagine this as a giant cliff of limestone going across from Ontario all the way into Wisconsin. And actually, a part of this escarpment that is in Ontario, Canada, is part of a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. But not only is this escarpment just a cliffside, it also creates a significant divide in the landscape. You see, to the north of this escarpment is the Canadian Shield, an area of ancient plates that have not changed much in recent history. And so as we can see, it actually creates what is called the Michigan Basin. And if I understand this correctly, a structural or geologic basin is basically an area of folded sedimentary rock. This is due to plate tectonics folding, and basically this Michigan Basin is on the bottom part of the fold, which creates this basin, and this has actually helped to create Lake Michigan and Lake Huron around there. And so here's a map of the basin, which is estimated to be from around 385 million years ago. And here you can see this basin was filled up, except the Niagara Escarpment acted as the edge of this basin. And so, again, I hope I was able to explain this geology clearly, and I got it correct, I hope. But I hope you enjoyed this video looking at the Niagara Escarpment and the Nastapoka Arc. And I'll see you guys in the next video.